Welcome to another edition of the MDM podcast. I'm Mike Hockett, MDM's executive editor. I spent April 17th through the 19th at the Industrial Supply Association's marquee annual industry event, ISA23, in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, and it was a fantastic 3 days of networking. That networking was the focus for ISA23, which in the past has had a fairly equally distributed agenda between educational sessions, an expo for member distributors and suppliers, and receptions. ISA23 still had a nice offering of education and expo this time around, but the association made it clear well in advance that in response to feedback from ISA22, attendees wanted even more networking. I thought it delivered that in spades in Phoenix, which created even more casual collisions than ever before, as Association President Brendan Breen refers to them. This MDM podcast episode features a handful of brief interviews I did with executives on the ISA23 Expo floor to gauge their thoughts about the show and what they're seeing and hearing on the industrial demand front. Enjoy. All right, we're talking with ISA President Brendan Breen here about halfway through ISA23. Brendan, again, we're about halfway through the show. A lot of people seem to be saying a lot of great things about all the networking that you've infused into this event. What are you hearing from people in terms of their reactions to this event, especially for those first-timers that are experiencing ISA for the first time?
Yeah, and thanks, Mike, for having me on here. So, I'll start with myself. What am I feeling? I'm feeling great about what's happening. It's energizing to have so much work that we put into this kind of come to fruition. But the real payoff for me is what I'm hearing from people, and it is that people are loving the focus that we have this year on networking. They're loving the opportunities we have. We had a great golf event yesterday, good 5K this morning, unbelievably positive opening reception with a lot of energy for an 8 a.m. opening reception. Bill Walton was amazing. And then, just walking around the show floor here, there's a lot of people just happy. We're hearing people come up with new ideas to make what we're doing even better. And that's what you want. You don't want people telling you everything you're doing wrong. I'll take that. That's fine. But it's all been positive. Is great ideas from this community on how we can just continue to promote events like this and make them even better.
As the host association here, just what's that final week of preparation like? That week before ISA starts, is it chaos or is it relatively calm until ISA opens?
It's eerily calm sometimes. I think that when you do it right and you prepare the right way, you kind of just want the thing to start. And that week before, everything is in place. Everything's going really well, and I have a phenomenal team that has made most of this happen. I think that. A couple people to call out is Destiny Bars, certainly our events director, is a real pro. Joby Strobo, Christina Bertino, Olivia Brimmer, and Jen Jones. I just have such a great team that make that last week calm so that we can come into an event like this and just be excited to get started. It is a little bit eerily calm, especially with how much complexity goes into an event like this.
Sure. For almost a full year now, we've been hearing all this economic talk about a looming industrial slowdown or an economic slowdown. But, when we're talking with distributors, service providers, industry consultants, their initial reaction is like, what slowdown? They're saying they're not seeing it in their numbers. Their customers aren't saying it. From the ISA's membership, what are you hearing from distributors or manufacturer members in terms of the outlook out there, the vibe of the industry, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm hearing the same. I think that you can't ignore the noise. You can't completely tune it out, and you can't, not look at things like some of the banking issues that are out there, and certainly other economic factors that are happening. But the anecdotal that we're hearing, and even some of the harder data that we're hearing, is that slowdown hasn't really happened yet. I think that it'll be interesting to hear from Alan Bulio on Wednesday, because it's a sharp outfit over there at ITR Economics. They really do give you kind of the straight shot for this. And so, I'm hoping that he's telling us that industrial is going to survive this without any real consequences.
Sure. All right. Well, Brendan, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike.
We're talking with Jessica Urgaitis, president of Industrial Supply Company. Jessica, we're about halfway through the ISA show here, ISA23. What are your general observations of the show so far?
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's a great turnout. Feels like we're back to pre-pandemic normalness in the industry. It's great to see everybody seems like everybody's business is really strong. I think the content's been great. The staff has done a really nice job of delivering for this event.
Yeah, last year was definitely scaled back. It was everyone's first time having an in-person show since the pandemic. Like you said, this feels more like the pre-pandemic ISA show that I've been to before. So then with that, just what's the industry vibe that you're hearing from industrial supply company customers in terms of, the near-term outlook? What kind of optimism is out there just in terms of product demand?
Our customers don't seem to be slowing down, and that's the consensus across all the different verticals that we serve. Everybody's strong, and I think my whole mantra is if you don't read the news, the economy is doing great. And as soon as you start poking around and in what the news media has to say, then you start to panic and we stop investing in our businesses, and we're waiting for that to happen. But we don't see that happening in the markets that we serve at all.
And then just, everyone's still talking about the labor front. That seems to be the biggest challenge distributors are still dealing with. Anything that you're seeing on in terms of the needle moving on labor, whether it's for industrial supply company or the industry as a whole, just how do you think distributors are doing right now, with talent right now?
Well, our company's in a better place than we've been in many years. I think as of about beginning of January, we were fully staffed, less a couple of employees that we were returning, but that sort of deficit of good talent seemed to have righted itself. It was a long few years of not being able to find people and leaving work undone every day, and we are fully staffed. I'm really proud of that, actually, and it's a long time coming.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear, and that's all I got for you, Jessica. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
We're talking with Zach Brado. He's the Vice President of Supplier Relations at Net Plus Alliance. Zach, we're about halfway through ISA here. Any quick thoughts on just what the show's been like so far, what the vibe has been, and what, especially the networking events, what those have been like so far?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's been a really high energy show. Starting out with Bill Walton, he was going to be a great keynote.
It was awesome.
Got everyone joking, and always wanted to see him speak because he's just been so fun to watch on ESPN and TNT over the years watching basketball. But really, what we've been seeing, we had a strong Net Plus Alliance distributors and suppliers in 2022, had a really strong year, up almost 30%. And, in the first quarter this year, there's a lot of uncertainty out there in the market, but we haven't seen it in our numbers.
Yeah.
So again, we're pacing a right around 30% through Q1. Specifically to ISA, being a young professional in this industry, I'm not as young as I used to be, but being on the emerging leaders, I really come to the show for networking. So when Brendan talked about having an event that was the best in the industry for networking, that speaks volumes to me because, of course, I want to see the suppliers and distributor partners at the show and talk strategy and talk programming and all that good stuff. But, how do you get your young professionals excited about an industry like this?
Yeah.
This is what excites me, is getting out here. A lot of these people are my friends. A lot of people are coming to my wedding that are, I have more people in the industry coming to my wedding than my cousins, so, and I love my cousins too, but the networking that you do at this show is second to none. And I think we'll continue to come to this. And as we have our younger people join the industry and join our company, we're going to look to come to these shows and other association events continuously year after year, because the networking you get is invaluable. Mike, we created a relationship years ago. We were two young guys that we saw a bunch of old people in the room, and when we saw each other, it was just great to talk and share best interests, but also grow in the industry together.
Yeah, when I first started here, I felt like I walked onto these show floors and I felt like a kid out there because you got just so many just seasoned decades, experienced people out here. And now when we're out here, there's a lot more people that look around our age, and part of that is, we're like you said, not as young as we used to be, but I think there just has been a more influx of, millennials, Gen Z that are getting into these kind of buying position roles that are going to be at these events that we go to. So it has been encouraging to see a kind of a youth movement here. And then, like you said, and Brendan said it too, networking is the key draw for something like this. And you don't have to do that at just a table at a booth meeting. It can be at a cocktail reception. It can be on the golf course. Those casual collisions I think that's when some of the most productive conversations have. It's not just at a booth, so to speak. So you already kind of touched on it, but there's all this talk about a possible economic slowdown or industrial slowdown. But like you said, when we talk with distributors, their most common reaction is what slowdown? They're not seeing it in their numbers. Just anything else you can say about the overall industry vibe from the demand standpoint and what kind of the near-term outlook is for industrial supply.
Yeah, that's a great thought there. And with us, we do have our bread and butter is an industrial MRO type distributors. That was how we were founded 20 years ago. So in this side of the business, really have ever since COVID, it's been on the way back.
Yeah.
On our other side of the business is we do a lot in the construction STAFTA type members out there. Everyone was kind of nervous about residential, so again, on the power tool and the hand tool side of the business, fasteners, we haven't seen a slowdown there either. So across the industrial MRO and the construction verticals, fasteners, safety supplies, we're predicting, double-digit growth this year as well. So I think it's going to continue to be strong through 2023. I sure hope so, because I have one child and another one on the way. So I hope the industry stays strong. And the other thing I can just say about Brendan, him and the ISA team have done a great job, in making it feel younger. They have a very young, responsive, great customer service team, great marketing team, and I think it's something that ISA's needed over the year. They've had great leaders in the past, but I think Brendan brings, something that really relates to, like we were just talking about, our types of people. And, this ISA show, a lot of technical products, but you still talk to the people selling the technical products, and they agree that it's a people business, relationship business. So it can get more technical, but there's going to be more trainings on Blue Volt and more on YouTube and more online. So yes, it's always going to be a very technical sell, but it's still going to be a people relationship sell. And that's why I'm here and why I'm so excited to be at the show.
Good to hear. Zach Brado, thanks for stopping by to talk some ISA talk.
Thanks, Mike.
We're at ISA23 talking with Peter Madsen, who is the president of Madsen & Howell and Tool Crib Supply. We're on the last day of ISA here. What do you think of the show so far?
First of all, I think the show is a great show. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been coming to the show since the early 70s. It shows you something about my age. It's a great show. I've never missed it from the educational point of view to our speakers. Bill Walton was just absolutely fabulous. I love a motivational speaker. You see all these people. I'm working with a supplier this morning on a problem we have with a customer, and one supplier sent me to another supplier, and it looks like they might have a solution. So there's no better place than to talk with various different people who have products that I might not know they even have.
Yeah,
so it worked out well.
I think it was Brendan who mentioned it great yesterday in the opening session. He said that you don't know how many people here are willing to help you, and I think that's just a great message. Like you said, there's just you never know who you're going to bump into here and what they might be able to do for you.
So I come for the networking, and I see all these people, and the more years you come, the more people you meet, and so we talk at the bar, we talk at dinner, we talk all day long about business, but then the educational sessions we have, I absolutely love them. I've been coming here for all these times. This place is like my board of directors with the people, and then the education I get from attending these seminars. If I get just a couple nuggets out of every meeting I come to here, and I've been coming, as I say, 50 plus years, it just is fabulous. It's helped me do what I've done all these years. Exactly. I love it.
We've been hearing for it seems like over a year now about this looming industrial slowdown or economic recession. But when we're talking with distributors, whether it's here at ISA or just over the past 6 months, there's just a lot of optimism out there in industrial supply. Just all distributors seem to be saying, what recession? They're not seeing it in their numbers. Is that the same case for you guys, or just kind of what are you seeing out there? What are your customers saying in terms of that near-term outlook?
Well, if we all are watching TV, the business shows, reading all the Wall Street journals and Barron's and everything else, we're in a recession and things aren't good. When I look at our order book and I look at our first quarter sales, I disagree. We're doing fine. I attended a breakfast meeting this morning with one of our suppliers. They see 6 to 9 months out there, still having trouble keeping up with demand.
Yeah.
So with all that going on, I don't see a recession, but that's not to say it won't come.
Sure.
But we don't see it yet. We're still looking for good people, and every good people send them to New Jersey because we're looking for some good people because we have more demand than we have people that can handle it.
And then just touching on the supply chain situation, it seems like it's gradually getting better, but kind of how would you rate where your company's supply chain situation is now compared to, say, 6 months or a year ago?
Oh, it's 100% better. It's not to say all the problems are finished with. We still have problems, but it's just various manufacturers with an item or two. Overall, we don't see it. We don't see a problem. We still see inflation. We still see everybody increasing prices. So that's not going away. But we're just not having the overall problem of spending all day every day sourcing product.
Great to hear. Well, Peter, thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming to ISA and supporting ISA. I think it's a great organization.
Always, yeah. We are at ISA. We're talking with Nick Pinkston. He's the founder and CEO of Volition. First off, Nick, can you give our audience just in a nutshell, what is Volition?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we're essentially a marketplace just for industrial supply and people doing, some mechanical machinery applications. So our customers are mechanical engineers, other kind of engineers, sourcing professionals, and other people who are building and designing this equipment.
And it sounds like this is your first time at ISA?
Yeah, that's right.
What were you looking to come and get out of the show, and what are your initial thoughts halfway through the show now?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome that in this morning's session, one of the big goals of the whole organization is networking.
Yeah.
And I was like, finally, one of these things that's not over programmed, and we can just meet people and talk with them.
Yeah.
And that's been great. I mean, I think that I feel like I am in a different world, in the tech world often, and I come here to meet a lot of people. And I've met a lot of people, so it's been sort of mission accomplished for me so far.
Yeah, the ISA president Brendan Breen. I love casual collisions. I think is what he keeps mentioning. And it's perfect for a situation like this. And for me on the editorial side, I'm all about the content. I love all those educational sessions, but I definitely agree with him. People come here for all those networking opportunities, and it's not just the predetermined interviews that people are having right now. It is the bumping into each other at a party with a beer in your hand, if what have you. Anything else you can say about the networking side, what it's been like for you, especially to help spread the word about Volition here?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's been interesting. Like, so many people here are either from the industry for, decades, their family's been in it. It's really interesting to see, this is many ways a traditional thing. I'm used to the tech world where it's like people just came in a year ago, and so it's a different world, but everyone's been very nice and welcoming. A lot of people have been like, hey, let me introduce you to someone. That's happened so many times. So it's not like this is really an insular group of people. It's just everyone knows each other for a long time, but it seems very welcoming. Yeah, I've had a good time.
And then what I like to ask everyone here, with all this talk about, a pending economic slowdown, perhaps even in the industrial sector, which does seem to be pushing out further than people originally thought, but just what are you hearing out there in terms of the industry vibe, in terms of the level of optimism out there at least in industrial MRO kind of product demand out there? What are you seeing in here?
I mean, we're still seeing the typical delays on everything and back orders and everything. That's still very much true for our customers. I think in the tech world, we just got hit really hard. I think way harder than industrial has,
Sure.
Right? So from our world, that's been a little bit painful. But from our buy side, I think everyone is just looking for technologies to make their world better. And so that's been good on our sell side.
Well, that's all I got for you, Nick. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us here at ISA23.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks for having me.